who are going to sort of give us So Mark Carlson, Senior Creative Director for McDonald's, is going to really sort of talk about what he's seeing from his consumers at the end of consumer and how they're challenging over the last 10 years. Mark has been with McDonald's for a staggering amount of time. I actually asked him whether he actually created Ronald McDonald, which he said he's a stepfather of, but I'm sure he'll explore a little bit that a bit further on. But I'm just going to run a video first, and we'll invite Mark to the stage. So thank you very much.
Not really, actually, no.
No, but I would if I had any reason to.
Well, people have slammed me, so I got to slam back.
Not specific. I've gone into blogs when I've acquired the technology to read about the brands, but I'm probably led by the sort of marketing itself when purchasing the brand.
I've liked something, but I haven't badmouthed anything. Yeah. Yet, and I do like Jimmy too.
I'm sure I've done it. Random products, you know, I got a lot of followers, so they usually listen.
I have indeed. I've definitely slammed and I definitely praised brands for local targeting. I've also slammed some stuff and I praised some stuff for social media as well.
No, not really. No, I don't think I have at all.
Yeah, I think so. I'm one of those people as soon as it gets popular, I go, no, I'm not interested anymore. But yeah, pretty much every new one.
I wanna know your name.
Slammed a brand on social media. You think anybody's ever done that to McDonald's before? No, everybody loves McDonald's, right? Well, actually, a very polarizing brand we are. We have lovers out there, we have haters out there. The haters are the vocal minority, but there are a lot of people who have a lot of love and passion for the McDonald's brand, and through our advertising efforts and making emotional connections to them, that's how we try to get more into being lovers versus haters. And so I'll go into that in a little bit. But first, I'm Mark Carlson. I'm your first speaker today without a sophisticated foreign accent. And since I'm here in San Francisco as an homage to Brian Wilson, the pitcher for the world champion San Francisco Giants, I dyed my beard black. It's a much smaller beard. But anyway, my role as a creative director at McDonald's, it's a little bit different. We have a unique situation where, as an advertiser, a big client like McDonald's, we have an in-house department of creative directors, old agency people who come over to the dark side, the client side, but we're all creative experts in that we're all copywriters, art directors. I did the first 11 years of my career working for McDonald's on the advertising agency side. But as a client, I work very intimately with all of our agencies, and we have a lot of them, and we do a ton of advertising. So we have 8 national advertising agencies, we have 25 local advertising agencies, and we do a boatload of creative across all media, and I'm responsible for a big chunk of that, and that is television, radio, out-of-home, digital, print, it's everything. So I could say that I'm somewhat of a subject matter expert when it comes to creative development and brand management, but when it comes to being an expert on the internet or on ROI of digital placement on the internet, or if you want to ask me if Google Plus is comparable to the new Facebook, I'm not the subject matter expert, but I am about connecting to consumers in an emotional way. So I'm going to talk about consumer responses to creative messaging today. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the McDonald's brand, because the way that we reach the emotional connection of the brand to the consumer is done a much different way now than it used to be in the past. So we have to go back about 56 years to the beginning of the company, and I'm sure everybody in this room knows, even if you're not from America, about the McDonald's brand, because it is a business case model. We are the darlings and pretty much the innovators of the quick service restaurant industry, and really a slice of Americana. So when you think about the McDonald's brand, not only the business itself, but the way that we put the business out there in our marketing efforts over the years, it truly was an emotional connection to America at that time. And there's a lot of people who still think of the McDonald's brand in that fond way, you know, 30, 40 years later. So here's this squeaky clean American family enjoying their meal at McDonald's in the 70s. But for so many years, that's what we were. We were a place you could trust. We were this clean place for wholesome food, fast service that you could trust. And our advertising really reflected that. So we made that emotional connection with our consumers for years with that storytelling, that kind of all-American, squeaky clean, sometimes corny, sometimes campy kind of advertising with iconic things like Ronald McDonald, commercials like our famous Bucket and Mop. So for years, that was the emotional connection between consumers and McDonald's. And it still is a little bit today. But fast forward to the 21st century, and we're not the company that we were back then. There's still a lot about the family restaurant side of the business, and the operational side of the business is the same. But we have really made some substantial changes to the way that we talk to our consumers now. So about 10 years ago, we introduced a new business plan called our Plan to Win, which has been extremely successful. And as part of that, the face of McDonald's, as it is seen to the customer, has changed dramatically. So not every restaurant looks like this now, but more and more have a new facade. They have a new interior. They're much more inviting. They're much more modern. So that is the face of the brand that we want the customers to think of as McDonald's in the 21st century. And one of the reasons that we needed to do that is because we were starting to lose relevance with our customers. The business really started to tank right at the turn of the century. That's why we needed to change our business model. And from a marketing standpoint, we were really losing emotional connection, especially with young adults. And that's when we launched the I'm Lovin' It campaign, which was really kind of radical at the time. So this was 2003. We launched it simultaneously in 119 countries, which was really unprecedented at that time for an advertiser. And it was a complete different departure in the way that we spoke to our customers at that time. This is a launch commercial from the campaign.
I'm loving it. Is this the place to eat? Since I don't cook, I'll just rock to the beat. I'm loving it. At the end of the day, to relieve the stress, we add a little play. I'm loving it. Sometimes we have mishaps. You just overcome and adapt to setbacks. I'm loving it. You know you're my world. How could I mind love taps from my girl? McDonald's. I'm loving it. Move your feet, rock to the beat. Hungry for the music, gotta eat. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. No guts, no glory. Seems like I stumbled in the wrong territory. I'm loving it. Who'd want to mock me? Rough around the edges, a tad bit sloppy. I'm loving it. My car's way too clean. If only I could start this fine piece of machine. I'm loving it.
I'm loving it. So, hip-hop music, tattoos, piercings, mohawks, radical departure for the McDonald's brand. And it pissed a lot of people off. There's a lot of those brand loyalists out there that said, what were you doing to my warm and fuzzy feeling that I got about the Golden Arches? So whenever you make a big change like this for your brand messaging, it's usually not easy, and we decided to go in diving in with both feet, you know, not just putting our toe in the water. We really wanted to make a statement, and in doing so, we alienated some people, but eventually we won.